YTBC, what's the deal? Just want to give my quick prediction on this David Haye versus Arnold Gjergjaj fight. Now, I've heard his last name pronounced different ways from watching his fights on YouTube. Gjergjaj and Gjergjaj. So, however you pronounce it, but the Cobra versus the Haymaker. Gjergjaj, he has the height advantage. He should, be the bigger guy on fight night, around 240-ish, somewhere in there. 6'6". Now I've heard him, I've heard from Dillian White actually that Gjergjaj was in numerous training camps getting roughed up by, X, Y, and Z. And I mean, yeah, cool. A guy getting beat up in, training camps and sparring sessions. I mean, I remember Riddick Bowe, the big dig on him was, even Evander Holyfield said this, that he was a, quote, dog in training camp, not in a good way. That, he would quit and not, give it his all when he was sparring, and he'll want to quit and not be active during sparring and be plodding around the ring. And, although a damn good Olympian and damn good amateur, that's how he was in, for his training camps and in sparring sessions. Now, what did he do when he went in there with Holyfield? He beat him the first time, so... Okay, cool. Dillian White says that, Gjergjaj was getting roughed up in some training camps. Cool. But he does have the height advantage. He is the bigger guy. He does have a good right hand. He can go some rounds. He is undefeated, so he is coming with that confidence of being 29-0. He is younger than David Haye, 31 years old. He had a little following in Switzerland, fighting in, small venues in Switzerland. Fighting limited opposition, some good journeymen. Denis Bogtov was a good fight. And Bogtov is pretty tough, man. I know that, Joshua beat him, but, I mean, there's a lot of other guys that, Bogtov pushed, and went the distance with. So, Gjergjaj, he fought. The thing with Bogtov is he was trying to fight Bogtov even. Pretty much just fight him, you keep your distance, I'm going to keep my distance, and I'm going to just work my jab and use my right hand. And Bogtov was slipping shots and trying to get in and laying his shots in counter, which I think David Haye, it's going to be interesting to see if David Haye, if he's going to bring the fight to Gjergjaj, because if he does that, I think he's going to knock him out within a few rounds, because Gjergjaj, he's susceptible to getting caught with right hands, man, and left hooks. I mean, he fights with his hands down when he's comfortable and he can pick his spots. Now, when I seen him fight around 230 pounds, he seemed a little, I forgot the guy's name. He was fighting him at an outside venue, whatever that guy's name is. He came in at like 230 pounds in that fight, and he looked pretty damn quick and nimble on his feet. Like, looked pretty damn quick and nimble for a 6'6", 230-pound guy. Looked pretty quick, nimble, and fast. Like, again, that right hand is what sticks out to me. I think that's his best punch. So if David Haye is just reckless with his hands down, he get caught, he may get buzzed. He may, we may see an upset happening. But I think Gjergjaj fights with his hands down a little bit too much. I still think David Haye probably has maybe him, Joseph Parker, maybe a few other guys I'm forgetting, probably the fastest hands. I'll probably put David Haye up there with the fastest hands in the division. Fast with some power on them. You make him put David Haye in that conversation, man. So I think Gjergjaj with his hands down, Haye with his hand speed, and Haye likes to fight with his hands down a little bit, but he's used to that, and he's fought at world level opposition or competition fighting that way. Not just against the journeyman, but he can fight like that and get away with that at a high level. I don't think Gjergjaj can get away with that at a high level. And if he tries to fight with his hands up, then that's really going to be a problem for him, because I think Haye has the hand speed, and if he can keep Gjergjaj to keep his hands up and keep him away and keep him on the shelf, he's really going to be able to land. And I think he can fight Gjergjaj off his back foot, because to me, I think Gjergjaj is more comfortable when he can just fight a fight at a pace where both guys are just going to stand their ground, nobody's really moving, and just fight like that. I think he likes to use his reach and fight you with flat feet. So if he tries to walk Haye down, he may get walked into a counterpunch, man. But who knows? Maybe he'll be able to sully David Haye. Maybe if David Haye sees somebody in front of him with their hands down, maybe that can make him a little bit reluctant to come forward. Who knows? I mean, anything could happen, but I think Haye's just a better fighter all around, better hand speed, more power. I don't think Gjergjaj is ready for this. If anything, I would rather want to see Gjergjaj against another prospect level guy. Maybe see how he looks against a guy like, or at least a guy like Edmund Gerber or somebody, you know, of that nature. Maybe even a Dominic Brazil or somebody like that. But just trying to step up to David Haye, I think he's going to get knocked out. I see David Haye winning this fight. I think Gjergjaj will come with the will to win. He is undefeated. One thing about him, though, is he has been on the canvas and hard, too. And he got back up and he won the fight, you know. So he will come with some heart. But he has shown that he can be knocked down against lesser punchers and lesser fighters, in my opinion. And he can be outboxed a little bit. He can be outquicked and outmaneuvered. Even Bakhtov was able to do it. And Bakhtov is a guy that I think likes to fight from high guard. I mean, he will drop his hands a little bit and show you different looks. But he usually likes to fight with the high guard, bob and weave, roll and dip under shots. And he was doing it to Gjergjaj. So if he can do it, I know David Haye can roll, slip, parry, and counter Gjergjaj. But I wouldn't be surprised, man, if he was able to land a good right hand and stun David Haye, because that's his best punch. But I'm going to go with David Haye to win this fight. Another thing about Gjergjaj that I noticed is he puts a lot of weight on that left foot when he's winding up for that right hand. He did it against, what was the guy's name? Marino Goles. He threw the right hand that knocked him out, if you want to really call it a legit knockout. I just don't think that dude won it anymore. But when he threw that right hand, his right foot came way off the canvas. Usually you're not taught to do that. Now, some of the greatest fighters in history have had deficiencies in their technique, and they went on and excelled and became champions and all-time greats. But I'm just giving you what I see. I think he puts a lot of weight on that front foot. And for a guy that, now, if this is the David Haye that I can kind of remember, I know he fought Mark DeMore, but to me, I really didn't see anything. You know, that fight only lasted a couple punches. You know what I mean? And Mark DeMore didn't even land a punch on David Haye. I think one shot grazed David Haye's glove. But if the David Haye that fought, you know, Chisora is still there, can still move and maneuver a little bit, and Gjergjaj is putting all that weight on his left foot to land that right hand, I see Haye countering that, moving out of the way with his feet and getting out of the way and shooting in with his own counter punches. But I'm going to go with David Haye by knockout. I'm going to say the 5th round. But I think this fight goes 5 or 6 rounds or less. I really don't see this going into the late rounds. Because once they start cracking each other, I really don't see either guy standing up, taking the shots. Because Gjergjaj is going to want to land that right hand hard. You know, he puts a lot of weight behind it when he throws it. And if he tries to play the whole, hey, you keep your distance, I'm going to keep my distance, let's just fight like this, I don't see David Haye. I think David Haye will press him. If he doesn't come out aggressive on Haye, he's going to get pressed. I don't see David Haye trying to go 12 rounds with this guy. I think David Haye, he does fight with a chip on his shoulder when he wants to fight, when he really in there trying to fight. Minus the, you know, Klitschko fight, David Haye usually comes to get it, man. He usually comes to get it. And I think he'll have a chip on his shoulder. And I like a mad David Haye. I like David Haye when he's mad. So hopefully we get a mad, out to prove something David Haye. But hey, maybe that can play into, you know, Gjergjaj's hands. I'm going David Haye in this one. YTBC. I'm out.